Okay, we are live. What's going on? CCTV Cambridge. I am Maurice, and I sometimes go by the name of DJ Mojave. I actually have a music show on CCTV. We call it Spring Affair. We're going to take a little bit of a right or a left turn, depending on which side of the road you want to ride on. And I actually have people who are very near and dear to me, even though some of y'all I just met, but you guys do art, so I love that about you already. So I'm with some directors and actors who are actually participating in this year's Roxbury International Film Festival. And that's going on over at the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. And if you haven't heard about it, it's going on. It's actually just opened up yesterday, June 22nd, and it's actually running through July 1st. So you got at least 9 days of some great new movies from some of our directors, some of our actors here. And I'm gonna actually just go around the room. Ladies first, please introduce yourselves to the Spring Affair CCTV audience.
Hello, I'm Narissa Williams-Scott, and I am a producer, director, and writer.
Okay.
Hi, how are you, Cambridge? My name is Jordan Lloyd, and I'm an actress in a film premiering at the Roxbury International Film Festival called Confused by Love.
My name is Keith Masco, Bayesian in the house. Barbados, stand up. Stand up.
No flag on you, brother?
Don't worry. No, this is Marby and Mike Vance, boy.
Okay,
I didn't want to come up too much. I'll jump up later. But I'm an actor, Cambridge resident. Very excited to happy to be here.
Yeah, man, welcome Cambridge. Not that I'm shouting down anybody. I like Hyde Park too, so.
Yeah, please.
What's going on? Yeah, big up Hyde Park.
Boston versus Cambridge.
No. And your name is?
My name is Crosby Tatum. I'm the executive producer, director of Confused by Love, starring Keith Maskell and Jordan Lloyd. And it is a privilege and an honor to be here.
Thank you, man. I've been seeing a lot of you guys lately, and I'm glad to do that. So, the Roxbury Film Festival is going on, and this is their 18th year. Big up to Lisa Simmons, who actually is one of the coordinators. So I don't know exactly. It might be a kind of a free for all, but I might have some directed questions at both sets of you. I mean, how long have you been doing your respective arts? Whether it be producing, directing, or acting. How long you've been doing it? Mm-hmm. We'll stop with anyone.
I'm a graduate from the New England Institute of Art. In 2003, I hold an associate's degree in television broadcasting and a Most Outstanding Broadcaster award from that year. I believe I'm the first African American to do so. And basically, I've been working freelance for about 14 years now after graduation. So I've been in the business pretty much. Everything's starting to kick off right now for myself and my team. And basically I've been freelance editing, directing projects from sketch comedy to feature films recently. And I'm just very honored and happy that I'm able to, create content that people can watch, and also that people can really, love, and that it's getting out to the public. So,
wow.
I've been fortunate to work with a number of Black Hollywood actors and talented directors, such as Trey Ireland, such as Jasmine Lewis, Keith Robinson, Christian Keys, Jasmine Lewis, Karen Wood Ross, Erica Hubbard, and a number of others. You can check it out on IMDb for me, Crosby Tatum, and just see the list there. And I'm very fortunate to work with these guys here in Boston, my hometown, and just really get us up there, on the next level. So
nice.
Very fortunate and privileged.
How about you, Narissa? How long have you been in the producing or just creating visual?
Well, I've been in the entertainment business since I was 4. I started on the stage and I made my way behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. I kind of just was like, I love acting, but I really need to do a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I started TCGT Entertainment. It stands for That Child Got Talent Entertainment.
I like that.
We started in 2009. Big ups to Joy Chase. Thank you, Joy. And we started out as a live event company that specializes in putting together plays, musicals, festivals, things of that nature. But I really miss performance, but wanting to stay behind the camera or behind the scenes. So I went to Emerson and got my MFA in film production. And I just recently graduated last year, and from that, in that program, which is a really great program, I was able to produce and direct 3 films and shorts. and I also produced a short with Jay Williams, big up Jay Williams, called Escapement. And what I've been doing in the last year is submitting these shorts and music videos for film festivals. And they also have video music film festivals. I don't know if people know that, but that's out there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so we've been submitting the music videos, we've been submitting the shorts, and my film Ancestry was accepted into the Roxbury International Film Festival for this year. And that's the one that I wrote, directed, and produced. And that particular film is actually, it's sci-fi, which is near and dear to my heart. That's my favorite genre.
A little Afrofuturism.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, very much so. Because we were the beginning. And so I also I've been really pushing young women into being a part of the science fiction world because we don't have much of a presence. It's almost as if they don't expect us to be in the future. But I believe that tremendously. So I've been, and I have young girls working with me who feel the same type of affinity.
Very cool. You just reminded me of this Richard Pryor line talking about this futuristic movie called Logan's Run. He's
Yes.
like,
Oh, that's
yes.
he's like, I didn't see any black people. I said, they ain't expecting us to be here.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Labyrinth, and the next thing you know, it's not here. Sorry, what? No.
Now I turn to you, Jordan. What's the front of the camera? We've actually got some behind the scenes.
the
About some
camera.
in front of
Now
the
in
scenes.
front of the camera.
Shout out Opal Thompson.
Well, what can I say about myself? I started acting as a child, and it was a fun, diversion for me. I had a lot of energy as a kid, so they had to put me in some activity, and it was acting and singing. And I went to Boston Arts Academy for music, for vocal music, and then I kind of just fell back into acting. I had worked at the Huntington Theater and ART as front of house staff, and would watch so many plays every week, and then I was like, all right, let me just go ahead and try this again.
Nice.
And I've been very fortunate. Coincidentally, I'm so excited to be in the Roxbury International Film Festival because I spent a couple of years volunteering, and I was on the screening committee, and I ripped tickets, and I showed people to their seats, and now I'm gonna show myself to my seat and watch myself on screen, so I'm excited for that.
That's what's up.
But
Right,
yeah,
you took care of one of my questions,
Exactly,
at least for you.
yeah.
Very cool.
So yeah, it's a crazy circle to be on. But I mean, in terms of Crosby's film, he called me up in December of 2015, I think, or 2014, and he's like, I want you to read this script I have. And I remember I was helping my mom move down to Florida, and I'm like, guess who I talked to on the phone? And she's like, who? It's like, you remember Crosby Tatum? We used to go to church together growing up.
Charles Street A&M.
Charles Street A&M, right down on Warren Street in Roxbury. And she's like, Crosby from Charles Street? I was like, yep, that's right. He wants me to be in his movie. I'm going to audition for it. You need to help me out with the video audition. And she didn't really actually end up helping me. I drafted a cousin in to help me, but it's been really outstanding. And I've been doing things locally, commercials, and taking classes, and I've been in a few projects with this handsome Jen over here. This is our this is our third film together. Yeah, we're in a short film, 2 short films. One, Patrick Jerome, sex tape, Tale of a Sex Tape. It's not a sex tape. It's about a sex tape.
Thank you for clearing that up. I appreciate that.
Of that, he's a married man, Roxanne.
I believe he thanks you, and I'm sure his wife thanks you as well for clearing that up as well.
She's seen it, right? It's not like that. It's not like that at all. It's about
my
some
leg because of that.
jilted lovers. It's about jilted lovers, and that was at the Boston International Film Festival
Yes.
2 years ago. Look at him trying to shy away like he don't know me. That's okay. That's all right. And then another one that we're working on with Beyond Measure Production, which is in post-production right now. And they were responsible for the halls. I don't know if you saw that web series. There was a big advertising campaign. That was really the first gig that I did professionally.
That was a good one.
That's good.
And so they're doing a short film on the repercussions of domestic abuse and sexual violence, and how a young man goes through and deals with that. So yeah, Beyond Measure. If you look out for Red Monster, Keith can tell you more about that.
Okay,
that's his, or does he want to? I don't know. Let me not put him on the
Well,
spot.
share a little bit of your bio, if you would. Everybody else has. Please feel free to do so as well. Thank you.
I've been acting. My mother would say since I was 5. You know what I mean? And
Acting a fool.
well, yeah. I mean, it's part of being Bayesian and stuff is part of the culture of laughing and making making fun of your father in some respectful ways, and your family and the stories, and there's so much stuff that's there that you can't help but have art inside of you. You know what I'm saying, in some ways. So, and then, going to Ringe and Latin, there's just so much talent. There's just so much ridiculous talent that's there that you can't help but, try to be involved as much as possible. But I ran from it. There's no question about it. I ran from it, and then when it caught me,
I think we have a call coming in. Is that one of your friends calling me, or is that actually a? Let me see.
We got a call?
Yeah, but it's flashing.
Oh, hey, highlight is blinging.
Would you mind hitting that pickup button right there?
The pickup button?
Yeah.
The red one?
Live on the radio and here on the show.
I think they just. Oh no, just hit that. Go ahead.
Hello?
Did you hit
Hi.
it? Hello.
Hello?
Yes. Hi. Welcome to Cambridge Community Television. Who am I speaking? Or who are we speaking with?
This is Kimberly Connor. I was asked to call in. I'm not going to be able to attend in person. We're in traffic.
Oh.
Kimberly, what's up?
Well, thank you for giving us a call, Kimberly. You are live on Spring Affair on Cambridge Community Television. I actually have a wonderful ensemble of participants. Probably many people here today. How are you today?
I'm doing great. We just landed.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
So, what part of that? We're talking about the role of people in the festival, the Roxbury International Film Festival. What are you doing in this festival this year?
I have a film that will be premiering in Boston for the first time before I do the movie.
Yes. Could you briefly kind of describe it for people who don't necessarily know what it's about? Would you mind?
Absolutely.
Cool.
The film is about two Midwestern firefighters. The firefighter, played by Jensen Atwood, is on a path to discover his passion when he finds love. But there are a myriad of secrets that are unveiled in the movie as well.
Oh, wow, that sounds pretty cool. And which is
Jensen Atwood, Omar Gooding,
okay.
Andrea Kelly, Danielle Ward,
Wow.
Carol Dennis, Tia Kamara.
Wow.
Name a few.
Now, is your film debuting tonight?
Yes, 6 p.m.
Okay, 6 p.m. Okay.
6 p.m. Roxbury International Film Festival. We're really excited about it. This is our first time in Boston premiering a film, so we came to do that and to get some seafood.
No, well, by that question, you don't originally hail from Boston? Where are you from originally?
Actually, I'm from Champaign, Illinois. I'm
Okay.
from University of Illinois.
All right.
All right.
Fighting Illini, okay.
Fighting Illini. Okay, we know a little bit about it.
A little bit. Well, actually, my cousin's wife actually went to UI, so I know about that.
Okay.
So what was your path? I mean, I've actually asked all of our panelists, and I'll definitely come back to you, Keith. What was your path to filmmaking? What got you to become a director, producer? What made you want to do it?
I've always gravitated toward writing. I think that's one of my strengths. It's always been a strength of mine, and I love film. So I just decided about 19 years ago to blend the two. And started writing, taking classes, workshops, everything, I could get my hands on related to film, and just decided to step out there.
Now, is this your first foray into films? Is this your first film? I didn't.
So this is my third film.
Third film, wow. And can people actually see your work online if they wanted to, or get?
Absolutely. Check us out. I have a YouTube page, Kimberly Connor on YouTube. It's Predestined Arts and Entertainment is my company. But if you want to see, you can see trailers there. But if you also want to go directly to the website to see the film, the first film is This Life Ain't Pretty the Movie. So you can find that film, thislifeaintprettythemovie.com. After that, we did Jump In, which is available in 832 stores nationwide.
Oh, nice.
Walmart and Best Buy, Amazon. You can also watch the trailer, meet the cast, jumpinthemovie.com. And before I do, we have a Facebook page. We have Facebook pages for all of them. But before I do, we also have an official website. It's jumpinthemovie.weebly.com. You check out the trailer. Like I said, meet the cast, see some of the awards that we've received on some of these films. We're out there.
Very cool.
Nice.
We're on
fantastic.
Twitter, Instagram, we're out there.
Now, I got a question, I guess, for a little bit of everybody here. Can you stay on the line for a second, Kimberly?
Absolutely.
I got a question. I'm just gonna throw out whoever wants to answer. And I know I didn't get your complete history, sir. But
I know you got me.
the playing field, especially with with video, with the technology we have with online platforms, seems to be leveling things a little bit. Or am I wrong? Because there was this huge movement of Oscars so white, and now I'm looking and listening to all your stories, and you actually make stories. Is the Oscars so white real? I mean, or is the digital divide being broken, and now you guys can compete with? I mean, obviously distribution in theaters is different, but you are now on laptops, you're on tablets, you're on smart devices. Does that just even erase the theater competition you guys have to face, or as actors and directors you're still dealing with that uphill? Well, I mean, I know it's a long question, but sorry about all that.
It's okay. I mean, the real situation here is that, yes, the playing field has leveled, and then basically we are able to execute projects and basically at a whim just distribute them for the public. The issue, however, is who's watching, because there is such an influx of people who are now digesting digital content that it becomes like a competition of how many eyeballs we can get, because now we're competing with a studio system that basically has control, that can basically influx and basically market itself to the public at a whim's notice without any forward direction. It's basically like you're shooting something at a wall and hoping it sticks. Now we're at a point now, and personally, I don't believe the Oscars so white rhetoric or anything like that. I mean, yes, it is, but the truth of the matter is basically what are we doing to basically execute our projects so that people are watching and listening and they're basically enjoying our content. I think what's more important is we're in a competition of getting eyeballs to our projects, and because of film festivals like the Roxbury International Film Festival that target African American moviegoers, which saying we do have a voice out here, and believe it or not, everywhere around the country they're like saying, wow, there's black people in Boston. There is
a lot of black people,
and they make film too.
We make films.
They go to Celtics games.
And we go to Celtics.
They just sit in the rafters. They're just above the camera. That's all it is.
That's all.
Anybody else jump in?
But like I said, the divide is basically competing with more eyeballs, getting people on board with our projects, and basically distributing them at their maximum potential.
Yes.
So that's really the key. We're basically competing for eyeballs now more so than getting it out there.
Okay.
And
I feel like from a producer's perspective, I feel like the competition is it's not even, it's not level at all, because one, I'm a female and women are not represented in this industry very well at all, even though we make up 36% of the industry behind the camera. I feel that the producers or the production conglomerates have money. They have the money, and the money drives the eyes. And unfortunately, the little person or the person who is the independent filmmaker has to do just that much more to be able to get the eyeballs, to be able to see the content. And then you find that you need to create your niche. And then while you're trying to create your niche of people who are like, oh, I need to go see that particular film because they make these type of films, you're also trying to make the films themselves. And that in itself produces an uneven playing field, because we are our team, literally, and trying to, and then we do have great people that work with us. We have a cast, cast that loves us, crew that loves us, which is great, and we really appreciate all of you tremendously. It's just that it's as a producer, that makes it that much more difficult to put it on a level playing field. But I do believe that the tides are changing with the international market coming into the scope of things at an exponential rate. I mean, who knew that Nigeria was number 3 in the world? Right. I mean, that in itself is like, that is just absolutely amazing. And then Brazil isn't too far behind.
You're talking about in terms of consumption of...
As far as creating, consumption, distribution, everything. I mean, literally they are saturating the market, and it's amazing. But that in itself is also giving the conglomerates a run for their money. Right. Which is a beautiful thing, and the internet is helping tremendously. And so that gives people like us, Crosby and myself, the ability to reach out and be able to sell our films potentially internationally, which means that that dollar could come back to us, or that euro or whatever it is, so that we can reinvest into our companies and continue to build our platforms in our community here in, you know, Boston, Cambridge area.
Now, Jordan, you wanted to
I
jump
did.
on that?
You know, I think one of the things that's interesting about the Oscars that I feel like never really came up in terms of these conversations is that like those awards are for Hollywood companies. It's very rare that you find an independent film that gets lauded the way it should, or even the film that, you know, everybody loves usually doesn't win. I mean, the selection process is so skewed, you know, and so it for me, in terms of an actor, I mean, even before I was in acting, just looking at the types of roles that Black people are nominated for, and we can say a slave, 60, or the 1960s, or maybe, you know, you'll get like a Shawshank or a Ghost, where it was like a real helpful Black person, and here you go,
Magic Negro.
Magic Negro. I didn't want to say it, but it's a Magic Negro. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, in terms of something like Nerissa, I'm not so familiar with your films, but I can speak personally to Crosby's film. I have an opportunity to play a character, realize, develop, that is not any of those three things. And Black people are coming to see it. Internationally, it screened in France, it screened in the south of France. So in terms of like distribution, there are platforms. I mean, there's Array, there's Quelle TV, there are things online that we can go and access. It's not just Netflix that's online, you know, and we as consumers, you know, because we all started out as spectators before we became practitioners. So I think we as spectators need to demand more, because, I mean, let's be realistic. Hollywood is kind of a broken system. Like, how many times do you go to the theater and be like, feel like you're picking between the lesser of two evils, or like, oh, well, you know, I like her, so I'm gonna give her the $8, or I like that director, I'm gonna try and hang with it, but I really want to see something different. And that's why it's so important to go to film festivals. It's so important to link up with people, because this is, I mean, you go on the internet. I spend so much time on Netflix. I spend so much time on Vimeo trying to look up the web series. And, you know, if you look at somebody like Issa Rae, who's so inspirational to me, it's like she went out and did a web series, and now it's an HBO show. They're constantly gleaning. They're looking for a better business model. And I think I'm constantly inspired to go behind the camera, because they're always looking for a better business model, because they're looking to build upon that. And so, I mean, the Oscars, what are the Oscars? It's a nice gold statue that somebody's going to put on their shelf and collect dust. I mean, it gives you capital. It gives you, you know, you become a star, you become a celebrity. There's a whole economic incentive behind that, which is awesome. But whose pockets are getting lined out of that?
Good point.
You know,
I'm going to jump to Keith, if you want to answer that question, as well as Kimberly on the line. You know, in terms of playing fields leveling, and that'd be the part one, and then we'll shift to just participation in this festival. What does it mean to you guys? Yeah. So yeah, Keith, go first, and then Kimberly, you after that.
Yeah, I think I agree with almost a lot of stuff that you were talking about, especially internationally. Because with the film Confused by Love, I went to France. You know what I mean? And so there's such an unbelievable appreciation for art and appreciation for our art.
Yes.
And that was, I mean, and that's the one thing, and that was the one thing that was just amazing to me. And there's so much interest in finding out about the culture here in the States. Like that's a huge thing.
Culture.
Right, in the real culture.
Yeah.
And through independent movies is where you're going to see that real culture.
Exactly.
So they're hungry.
Exactly.
They're hungry just to talk in general, but they're hungry to understand these issues and have discussions, open discussions about it. So that was the thing about, you know, having Confused there with, you know, relationship problems and financial problems and all this other stuff. You know, folks enjoyed the ride that they were on, but it was real. You know, of course, the story is, you know, is kind of a real story that we don't necessarily always hear about, especially because, you know, being married and having problems, financial, you know, it all goes one way or another, and most of the movies, things you're not sure what's really going to happen, or it's just over. You know what I mean? The folks are working through their problems in this movie, and that's one thing. Even with when we screened it before, you know, that's the thing that people are saying. You know, there's positive images, and maybe one swear that's not you can't even really count. But no one's getting killed, no one's getting shot, there was no drugs in it, there was none of there's none of, you know, none of that stuff. And so I think that type of content is what people are looking for, and folks internationally are looking for content in that way, are dealing with real issues,
cool.
but not the shoot 'em up, bang 'em up, stuff that's, that other people are sometimes making us make, so we feel like we can make it.
Kimberly, I haven't forgotten about you. You still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Are you finding this? You said this is your third film. Are you like being able to? Because you said you have so many different streams of being able to get your content to people. Are you finding that you're breaking that wall? I guess that might have been called, that Hollywood might have had, like maybe 20 years ago for Black, producers and stuff like that now.
I would definitely say we've made progress, but I think that we still have a long way to go. And especially being a woman in film, I think that the dynamics are a little bit different, even when, compared by comparison to other Black male filmmakers. I think the dynamics are definitely different. Yes, we've made some progress, but we've got a long way to go. And I absolutely think that the Oscar so white, that's very real in our industry. Is that my reality? No, because I'm going to continue to do what I do and make my films regardless, because at the end of the day, if I win an Oscar, that's great, but it's not something that, I have to do in order to say, okay, this is what success looks like.
Amen.
Success is getting your film out there, and like we all have talked about, there are a lot of different mediums now. I mean, we have made progress in terms of distribution channels. Definitely, we've made a lot of progress there. But I guess in my own experience, what I'm finding is that some of those entities, while they're in place, they're getting our work out there, but at the end of the day, and maybe, some of the other filmmakers would agree, we need to get paid for our work.
Amen.
It's great to have it out there.
You ain't lying.
You ain't lying, Kim.
They have to be paid back. So the money part, definitely, we're not where we should be.
Agreed.
I agree.
Male versus female,
Stop buying the bootlegs.
A long way to go.
And the key point that's with that is the fact that our own people are bootlegging our films, and because of the bootlegging that's happening, distributors are not offering money to the filmmakers so that we can go recreate, or we're not able to get back, and we're not able to get paid for our work, and we're not able to make more work. So
technology is actually helping, but it's also hurting you kind of almost at the same time.
Yes.
And
everyone get off BitTorrent.
I'm with people who are participating in, welcome to Spring Affair if you're just joining me. Maurice Wilkie here with members of Confused by Love, directors, actors, also members of Ancestry, Nurse Williams. Also, I have on the line, I have Kimberly, who is actually produced Before I Do. So we're actually just talking about the Roxbury International Film Festival, their participation in it, from behind the camera to in front of the camera. And what days, let's go back to, I kind of want to jump off of, what does it mean to be in this festival for some of you local heads? And, what does it mean for somebody who's outside of the Boston area? I mean, I don't necessarily know how much weight this festival has. Describe that. What does it mean to be in it? You're from the Boston. You kind of alluded to it a little bit, yeah.
I think as a filmmaker, it is paramount that your audience start where you are.
Okay.
And if you are in the city of Boston and you are an African-American filmmaker, having Lisa Simmons to acknowledge you in your own hometown is beautiful. Right. It's absolutely, thank you, Lisa, so much for recognizing us and believing in us and putting us out there to the general masses here, because film festivals are about the film goers. Granted, it's about us, it's about the people who actually make the films, and we're appreciative. However, they cater to the masses. And the one thing I tell my actors, as well as my crew, is that you never know who's sitting in the audience. You have no idea who comes to these things. You have no clue. So you put your best foot forward, and Lisa has always done that for, I mean, me personally, I totally and completely respect her. The festival has done so much for me in the past, as well as this particular film, and I think that it's something where I can go to another festival, and that festival can say, well, have you premiered someplace? And I can say, yes, at the Roxbury International Film Festival. Yeah. And they can say, oh, so someone else gives you that sense of credibility as well. It's not just us submitting to other festivals or other locations. It depends on what your film is. If you're a documentary or if you're an educational piece and you get into a festival, you use that as a part of your marketing strategy.
Nice.
And you put that in there, like someone else is acknowledging me. And if your own hometown isn't able or doesn't acknowledge you, then it makes it look as if you're not even welcome in your own home.
Okay.
So for that, big ups.
Okay. Yeah, Lisa said there's 54 films, and I guess she had to like sort out of like over 100 submissions. So I mean, the fact that you guys made the cut, I guess, is different.
It's truly amazing. It's truly a blessing because on average, Sundance films, there's at least 10,000 films at Sundance that actually get submitted, and only 200 or 250, somewhere around that line, get accepted or played at. And that's all films. Wow. Yeah. So if you go by that average and you break it down for all the other film festivals that are around, which there are 4,000 of them, basically you're not certain festivals will have at least 150 films or 200 or whatever is skewed. To basically sort through and basically say, okay, these are the best ones that we're going to pick here. Right. But for us, and at least my journey, it's taken me 4 years to get here to the Roxbury International Film Festival. I remember back in 2009, actually, I submitted a TV pilot called All for One that I remember submitting it and not getting in. And I thought like, oh man, what's going on here, And I remember in 2012, and this is Marissa alluded to the generosity that Lisa Simmons provides and the support she provides for all filmmakers here in the community. I was having a hard time raising money for my first movie, Surprise, Surprise, or rather, I didn't know the process about raising money or, going forth with a film, because this was my first feature film I was doing. I'd done shorts, I'd done sketch comedy, YouTube stuff, and I was like, I want to get a film done. No matter what, I was willing to sacrifice everything to get it done.
Wow.
And
I'm sorry, not even to cut you off.
Yeah, and for just to really bottom line this whole deal, Lisa afforded me an opportunity to come to the Roxbury International Film Festival. Had a pass. I got inspired by so many filmmakers that were there in 2012, like Matt Cherry's Last Fall when he premiered that night. Jay Williams and Narissa with I believe it was Listen. That
Escapement.
Was 2012.
Oh no, Listen. Yes,
it was Listen. That was your film that was there. It was. My man Montaigne, Mr. M, he had a film called it was a rap parody. I forget. I still have the lips on my tongue. He's gonna kill me if I don't.
It's all good.
Yeah, it was inspiring. I actually also felt like crying because I felt like I didn't belong. I had a festival filmmaker pass, and I felt like I didn't deserve this. I didn't earn this, and I sat up. I cried because I felt like I wanted to be a filmmaker. Now 4 years later, here we are. So.
To have you, you kind of alluded to Jordan.
I did allude to it, but I remember even before I volunteered for the festival, my parents were always big on taking me to see international films, foreign films, and I have to thank them for it because now I know people who are like, oh, I have to read and watch a movie at the same time, but I dig it, and so I went to this festival, as a kid, and I would see these things, and then I decided one summer I didn't have anything to do, I was going to volunteer, and when I volunteered, I got to meet all of these filmmakers and see the look on their face when they finally had an audience to see their work. And just like listen, even being out in the hallway and being able to listen to their reactions and then, meet people from all over the country, all over the world. I remember when Lisa announced that it was going to be the International Film Festival the next year. Like that's when I remember, I think that was the year I volunteered or maybe the year after. But it was just like, it was such an exciting moment because it's like, oh wow, well Roxbury, people in Boston don't even really know where Roxbury is. I know where Roxbury is. I'm from Roxbury. Mm-hmm. But if I tell somebody in Woburn, oh yeah, I grew up in Roxbury, they may or may not be able to. But here now it's an international film festival, and now we have people all over the globe. I remember when I was on the selection committee and I'm watching all of these films. There are films from Africa, there are films from the West Coast, there are films from Europe, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And Lisa, if you meet her, she is the kindest, most generous person. Mm-hmm. you know, and I mean, she does stuff all year round. This is another thing. She does these dinner and movies all year round. She did something in March, I remember, at Haley House down in Roxbury and Dudley Square, and she's constantly like looking and filming and keeping her ear to the ground, and there's something like just really special about how she keeps her ear to the ground, how even I think I told her like, oh yeah, I'm in this movie, but she's like, oh yeah, Confused by Love, yeah, Crosby already told me. And I'm like, oh, like I was just trying to be like kind of quiet about it, but she already knew, and she's like the godmother of the city. She knows what's going on, and the fact that there's somebody there to do that, and is bringing all these people, and it's inspiring people who might not have quite made it this year, but she'll work with you. And there's something to be said for somebody who will work with you and who won't.
Yeah.
Hey, you're here, you're polished, everything's done, it's cool. It's cool, that's cool, but if somebody's gonna work with you, they're worth their weight in gold, because, and I think this is one of the film festivals that will keep the bar high, but if you're not quite there, it'll lift you up.
Very nice.
Definitely.
So yeah.
Cambridge homie, how was it like to be in a festival across in proximity? What does it mean?
Well, the thing about it is, you know, even though I lay my head over here, I'm everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Boston is my hometown. You know what I'm saying? Cambridge is where I lay my head, of course, but everywhere in this area is home. So, but it's always special. It's always special to be acknowledged, like Narissa was saying, at home. You know what I mean? And like you said, they know that not a lot of films get in from around here, so the fact that you know that we're the ones that got selected is just a blessing and an honor. You know what I mean? I've known Narissa for a long time and known her work, and you know she's top notch, and you can see very articulate, and you know just a great mind in general, besides just a film mind, and a great person. So you know to know that we were the ones that were selected this year is you know was amazing, and Lisa's support is unbelievable. If it wasn't for Lisa, I wouldn't have gone to France. Well, it's just that simple, you know. But just that support, and she's always around. At one point, she was talking about trying to get agents for us actors. At one point, you know what I mean. And this year, she came up and said, "Keith, I'm hearing some good things." And I was like, "Oh my!" I was like, "Really? You hearing good things? Really?
What I do?
Yeah, what I do. I didn't hear anything and stuff. So it's you know what I mean. It's really nice, and you know I do a good amount of stage or whatever, but now kind of, you know, looking at this other medium and, you know, in a different way, and, you know, there's nothing like this, so to speak.
Wow.
You know what I mean? In the kind of theater world, in terms of it. There isn't like one, you know, festival where you're like, okay. There used to be when Jackie Parker did, you know, the African American Theater Festival and stuff like that. So if you were selected to be in that, you had a sense of pride. And so this is that flip side.
Oh, wow.
You know, so it's, you know, it's special. I feel honored. I feel blessed. You know, even to be involved in the project and stuff like that.
Kimberly, you being chased by the police right now?
Yeah, they're on me.
Okay. I thought that was Driving While Black, which was last night, but okay.
Oh my God.
So Kimberly, if you could actually, I mean, you're coming from an outside perspective, a slightly outside perspective. I don't know how often you come to the Boston area. What made you decide to submit something to Roxbury International Film Festival?
Well, I guess first of all, it's an honor to be selected as an official selection. That is an honor, especially considering now, you know, the fact that someone mentioned the numbers. I had no idea that you know, 400 films have been submitted. So to be one of, you know, 54 films, that's an honor. And you know, I see festivals come and go. And for a festival like this to be around for this amount of time, this length of time, I think that speaks volumes in and of itself, because it's tough out here to put these films together, to put these festivals together. I know that it is. And it's just, it's an honor to be amongst the films that are screening this year at Roxbury. I'm honored that they took the time to take a look at my film and to be, you know, willing to put it out there, because I think, as one of the other filmmakers mentioned, it's very important. We can use that as a marketing tool. You definitely want to mention that when it comes to these other festivals, you know, that you placed, because it speaks volumes. Just the fact that you placed in one of the festivals, that you were selected, it just speaks volumes. So to me, definitely, I'm honored to be a part of it. Just to be a part of a festival that's been around this long. I mean, that says a lot.
So once again, Maurice Wilkie, that would be me. I'm actually Spring Affair. You're listening to and watching Spring Affair on Channel 9 on CCTV Cambridge. We're actually sitting down with some people who are actually participating in this year's Roxbury Film Festival. And I would actually like you guys to, once again, in case people are just joining us right now, to let them know what day and time your feature will be airing. I mean, actually will be shown at the MFA. We'll start with you.
Yes, my film is Ancestry, and we are showcased in the shorts segment between 3 and 4:45 at Remus Auditorium at the MFA on Saturday, June 25th.
Okay, and Confused by Love will be showing tomorrow night. Friday, June 24th, 2016, 6 p.m. at Remus Auditorium at the Museum of Fine Arts. And if you guys need directions, please visit our website at confusedfilm.com. And also you can purchase your tickets from there as well. And also mfa.org is where you can purchase tickets for Narissa's film, for Ancestry in the Shorts block, and also for Confused by Love and all the other films that will be there as well. So mfa.org and Roxbury International Film Festival.com as well.
Okay, and you, Kimberly, I mean, what day and time is your film again for people who just might be joining us on the TV?
Yes, thank you. My film, Before I Do, premieres tonight, 6 p.m. at Museum of Fine Arts, 6 p.m.
Yeah.
The tickets are out there available. Yeah, please come out. Take the time to come out. The film is getting rave reviews, actually.
Awesome.
We've got a great review by film critic Cam Williams that had a lot of good things to say about the film. So, yeah, I'd like to invite people to come out Before I Do the movie tonight at 6 p.m. as part of Roxbury International Film Festival at the Museum of Fine Arts.
Get your tickets now.
You all are really good marketers and also good good filmmakers and actors as well.
I thank WWE for all this.
WWE.
Hey, don't sleep on them.
You
Don't sleep on the
against
business model that
wrestling.
makes billions of dollars.
You just made me digress so much. You just made me lose whatever train of thought I had in my mind. Thank you very much for that.
I do that sometimes. I can't help it.
And for those who didn't get a chance, I think I've got back on the track. I think WWE. Anyway, last night, if you didn't get a chance to check it out, there was an opening. There were two opening films. There actually was the opening Nina Simone documentary, and also Dominic Purdy was a star in Driving While Black. I don't know if any of you got a chance to view that.
That changed how I drove around Boston last night. I will say that.
And I mean, for those, I mean, I'll try to give a quick illustration about Driving While Black because I got a chance to catch that. I missed, unfortunately, the Nina Simone documentary. It was amazing. It chronicled the life. You're bigging up. The people can't see her off camera, but
Opal Thompson.
Yeah, Opal Thompson off camera. It chronicled the life of this man, just trying to he was really trying to turn himself around. He was an artist, but he was caught up in the day to day, and that was pretty amazing. I'm like, as artists yourselves, I mean, you get caught up in the day to day stuff of what's going on around you, but you're still trying to pursue. He was trying to pursue his art, but he knew he actually had to get a job at the same time. What is it like to try to be a full-time actor, especially in this region? And are there difficulties, or is it just like
Good Lord.
Should I shift to a different question?
No. I mean, it's great.
Stories.
It's a great question. It's really difficult. I can say that I'm a full-time actor. But it's really trying to understand yourself as a business, number one. Number two, trying to use all of your skills to be able to create sometimes your own content, but to create, money to keep going. I'm a teaching artist for the Huntington Theater Company, for the August Wilson competition, and stuff like that. I have an educational background, so, I'm able to use that. I'm working on a project in Portsmouth, New Hampshire with a museum, which I'm an actor. But because of my educational background, I'm part of a huge grant, to go into schools and educate the youth about contributions of Africans and African Americans in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. You know what I mean? Helping them create scripts that will then go and perform. So it's a juggling act. You know what I mean? And then even at times, I've been outside of my 40 hours. Sometimes I hang out at Shady Hill at sometimes in their after school, being able to help the kids in general, but also be a mentor for the kids of color that go to school there and stuff like that. So, people are like, man, like, how much stuff are you doing? Do you sleep? I'm like, yeah, sometimes, but it's also about creating content. I'm also working with this wonderful woman by the name of Roxanne Maskell. She is the new president of the National Association of Black Social Workers in Boston. And so we're working on a project where we're using art as a learning tool for social workers. Okay, so that's another way that I'm using my acting skills in a different way. So it's really thinking, you got to think out the box with this. You know what I mean? It's hard. But I'm proud to say that that I pay my mortgage by my acting, and that's success. You know what I mean? Of course, you want to be big on the screen and everything. People are like, Keith, man, have you had any success yet? I'm like, well, I pay my bills every month. And that's success. That is success. You know what I mean? Like that's success.
Yes, it is.
But also too, the fact I'm blessed also because I'm in SAG and AFTRA, as part of that union, but also for stage. I am also, Actors Equity as well. So if things are going, stage could be slow or whatever, I don't see things that I want to do, then I can go in another direction. And I think that is, that has been really, really helpful to me, and also having support. You're having supportive people, supporting people in the network, people in my family. The bitches in Cambridge, stand up. You know what I mean? Like they really, honestly, I have to say that because anytime I'm walking through the city, people come and talk to me and say, Keith, man, keep doing what you're doing, Keith. Keep going, keep fighting through. And, that means the world to me.
Well, Jordan.
Oh, me? Well, I'm not quite full-time yet, but I'm working on it, and I think I'm still pretty young in my acting career. I've really been doing this for maybe 3 years professionally. Okay. But I'm very fortunate. I got to be in SAG-AFTRA pretty early in my career. So that's a hurdle that people take years to try and get to. Yeah. So, and I was blessed enough to be able to have that given to me pretty quickly, and I had the option to say, you know what, no, I'm going to wait for a little while and kind of build my craft, work on some independent films. But it one of the things that's beautiful about the city is that there's I think it's maybe a 2 degrees of separation in reality than a 6, in other locations. 2.5. And so, right, maybe 3 if you're new here, but it's everybody knows everybody, and it's all love. I had 2 auditions today, and I knew people on the bench, and it was just hey, I'm glad to see you're in here. I'm glad to see you're working. And New York is so close. There's always this huge allure of every time I ask somebody, oh, when are you gonna go down, and why don't you go to? But I was talking to Keith. He's such a hallmark of inspiration, and you have to kind of, acting is a journey, and to remind myself of that, to say, okay, well, I have these goals that I have set for me, but what is success? Success might not be that Oscar, because I know I've written papers in class saying how I don't like Oscar, really. So is that really a destination for me? What is being successful? So that's where I am in my career, my journey is well, what do I value? What kind of scripts do I like? What kind of stories do I like? And what kind of directors do I want to work with? What do I want these projects to look like that I'm a part of? And that gives me more agency to say, maybe if one of the bigger casting places like Boston Casting or so-and-so casting doesn't call me in as often, I know I have my list of goals and my list of personal successes, and eventually that'll line up with whatever, my parents will say, okay, I know when I'm an extra in something, they'll get excited about it. If they could point to something and say I'm in it, but I know if I say, I went into this audition and I really felt like I built up a strong character. Wow. That's a success for me. I felt like I didn't let my nerves get in my way. I went in and I gave my craft, and I let that audience know my interpretation of something. That's successful for me. Because so many people who come up to me and they say, oh, I saw you on Facebook, I saw you on Instagram, that's so cool that you're acting, I always wanted to act. And I said, what's stopping you? I give them all the names, I give them all the lists, and I never hear that they're doing anything. And I did it. I took that first step and I'm already like, cool. Like, it's smooth sailing from here, whatever the bumps may be. Because, trust me, I don't always look this cute. But, sometimes that's right. But today, I don't know if you can see, I got the glittery skirt on too. I got my heels on. But yeah, it's not always interviews. It's not always like, come see my movie on Friday. Sometimes it's like, well, hey, I don't know. I haven't heard back from anyone yet, but you got to be cool with that and be happy that this is the life and this is the artistry is about that process.
Okay, very
so that's
well.
where I'm at right now.
Kimberly,
Yeah.
what types of projects, and I'm going to ask all three of you as producer directors, what types of projects are you trying to produce?
Excuse me one moment if you guys don't mind. For a second.
That's okay. Not a problem. I hope everything's okay. What types of projects? I'll ask the two of you then.
You got to pay a meter.
Okay.
That was a meter walk. Y'all know that meter walk. Y'all know what it's like.
Meter run.
Central
Play in
Square.
Cambridge. No, they don't. You have that ticket
They do
looking
not.
at you. Yeah.
So Kimberly, what types of projects going forward are you trying to actually, either produce or be a part of?
I actually want to be, I don't want to be put in a category with doing one type of film, one genre of film. So I definitely want to be able to do all different types of genres. I'm actually working on my fourth project now. We're in pre-production. The title of that film is Lipstick, and it's actually a thriller. So that's completely different from anything else that I've done. But at the end of the day, I want to be able to tell stories that with a message. Even in a thriller, there has to be a message, in the film, a reason for doing it, a moral to the story. And for me, I guess, because I didn't get a chance to comment on the last question, but as far as full-time, working a full-time job, being a full-time filmmaker, it is a challenge, but you do what you have to do. You do what you love. Because right now, because I'm not in a position to get a lot of funding from other avenues, right now it's that full-time job that is funding my project.
Right.
So
Right.
to be able to tell the stories that I want to tell as a writer, director, producer, without having to be worried about the money part.
Right.
That to me would be success. To be able to leave my day job and do film and only film. To me, that would be the true definition for me of success.
Well, I like that. I like that definition.
Well said, sister. Well said.
Narissa, I mean, you're kind of into the Afrofuturism, but I mean, I'm assuming that you're not going to be like you're going to be like Kimberly and not necessarily just stick to one thing, or maybe you will. I don't know.
I learned a long time ago that I am a Jill of all trades and a master of none. I have to be able to stick my toe into a bunch of different lakes and a bunch of different ponds and even a few swimming pools. I need to know how to multitask and be able to be a part of different things. I am blessed. I am so highly blessed. God has just been working with me, for the past, he's been working with me all my life, but I just came back around and said, oh yeah, right, God, my bad, here we go. And he was like, you ready? And I'm like, I'm ready, Lord, let's go. And he has been working in my life, like wholeheartedly, that I've been even recognizing it for the last 9 years, and just he took me from the absolute bottom and has just strategically moved me in a different way every single journey, and all I have to do is stay open. As long as I'm open to his blessings, then I'm going to receive them. And whatever his blessing is, I can't look at it and say, oh, I don't want to do that. Like, you can't, no. Because just because I don't necessarily think I'm supposed to be the stage manager of that play, because stage managing days for me are over, well, maybe that's the way I'm supposed to go for this moment, and let me go do that, because I don't know who is there that is about to take my film to the next level. Like, I have to stay open to everything that's presented to me. Now, if it makes sense, then yes, pray about it, talk to the Lord. Yep, that's what I want. I sent that to you. Okay, wonderful. I got you, God. But I work on a multiple of things. I mean, I work on films, I work on live event shows, I work on musicals, plays, commercials, music videos, features, shorts, documentaries. I do everything because I am blessed, period. And I'm blessed to be able to produce. And at the end of the day, I remember a long time ago, and I'm dating myself here and making myself real old right now, but I remember it was like 2005 5 or 4, I stood before a phenomenal gentleman out in LA. His name was Thomas Duckett. And Thomas said to me, "What do you really want to do?" And because at that time I was trying to act, I was trying to do the acting thing in LA. And he was like, no, you don't want to be an actor. He said, "What do you really want to do?" And he was like, "What does your heart tell you to do?" And I said, "I want to help people." And he said, "Bet." He said, "And how do you want to help them?" And I said, and I'm thinking to myself, how do you help people? What do you do to help people? And I was like, I don't know, give them a job. And he said, "Well, then, baby girl, you're a producer." And I was like, oh, but he didn't say you're a producer for just this, you're a producer for just that, you're a production manager for just this. No. He said, "You're a producer." And I ran with that. I ran with it. And I've been producing and production management ever since. Whatever I can get my hands on.
I love that. Come on in, man. I gotta get your 2 cents on.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Literally, yes, literally. We have about maybe a minute and a half, so I'm gonna go to you real quickly, Carl, before we wrap up. What's the future for you? What are you going to be still doing? Comedic productions or content, or is the world your oyster and it's going to do a lot of different
the world is the oyster, and basically I'm the bar, and we're just ready to basically chow down on it for the most part. I'm very fortunate and blessed that things have started to kick open a little bit for myself and or rather the Tricep Studios family and all of us together here in the community in Boston. We're really getting ourselves out there. Me personally, I'm just very fortunate that I'm able to work on more productions, and I'm getting more opportunities as they go along for the most part. I've pretty much been downplaying this for a while now, but I've been acknowledging that I have a talent.
Okay.
The fact that I have a gift that I can share with a lot of people, and that gift is usually it is through basically when it comes to directing or producing, I feel very blessed to give people a job and an opportunity that basically they might not have had an opportunity beforehand.
And can I pause you on that moment? I want everybody to also, especially our audience, because we're about to go off the air and we'll go back to our CCTV programming. Definitely check out the Roxbury International Film Festival, #RoxFilm.
Yes.
Check out Confused by Love, Before I Do, Ancestry, and all the other great films that are actually at this festival. I'll be there. I'll be hashtagging all over the place. So for CCTV.